Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about the first fight of the night, Zach Pauga versus Modestas Bukoskas. Modestas is 29 years old. He's got 1 inch of height and 2 inches of reach over 35-year-old Zach Pauga. Modestas has a record of 14-5, much more experience, as opposed to Zach Pauga, who's got a record of 6-1. Of course, Pauga also has 2 exhibition victories on The Ultimate Fighter, which happened after 5 of his pro wins. In the UFC, Zach Pauga's 1-1. He lost in the finale to Muhammad Usman, who knocked him out in round 2. And then he won a decision against Jordan Wright, which was not a good look. He smothered Jordan Wright against the cage. He certainly looked effective, and he looked better than Jordan Wright, but he's the only guy that wasn't able to put away Jordan Wright, who's one of the biggest and best glass cannons in MMA. I love Jordan Wright, by the way. But Zach Pauga, he's not a big finisher. He's only got 1 TKO, 1 finish in his 6 wins, and it's by TKO. And then his other 5 victories are all by decision. He beat Jordan Wright, as I said. He beat Marcus Perez before he got to the UFC. That was impressive. And he also beat, on The Ultimate Fighter, Jared Heiderman and Niall Bartling. Heiderman, he got out of there with a TKO in round 2, but Bartling he beat by decision. Zach Pauga is certainly figuring himself out as a fighter, and that's a shame because he is 35, but still, he's he's a guy that is definitely capable offensively. It's just defensively I worry about him. I think his chin is a concern, of course. Muhammad Usman knocked him out with a big jab, I want to say. It was either a jabby hook or a hooky jab, but it wasn't the most powerful strike I've ever seen. Of course, Muhammad Usman is the most powerful guy I've ever seen, so that makes up for it, but he's not exactly the biggest power puncher, and he knocked him out with a jab pretty much. Not a great look for Zach Pauga, but Muhammad Usman's a big fucking guy, and he's a big guy up a weight class, so it's a little forgivable. But, I bring up the knockout loss, and I would harp on it because he is 35 years old. It's just, like I was saying with Raoni Barcelos before. Raoni Barcelos has 1 knockout loss, and now he's 36. So his knockout loss just came in his last fight. Now it's an issue. And with Zach Pauga, in every fight, it's going to be an issue. He could be get knocked out for another 2 years, just do nothing but win. And I'll be like, he's 37, and he was knocked out when he was 35. It's always going to be an issue. If you ask me, seeing the way he did lose with the jab to Muhammad Usman, if Zach Pauga did lose 5 fights in the future, I'd say at least 2 of them are by knockout, if not 3 or 5 or whatever. I have my doubts. But physically, he's a good fighter. He's a good enough grappler and, can bully in the clinch, as we saw against Jordan Wright, which I think he's going to be looking to do against Modestas. If he can't rip him to the mat, I envision him trying to stuff him against the cage. Modestas, he is an outside kickboxer. That's where he wants to be. And he's looked really good as of late, on the outside, striking pretty well. He beat Tyson Pedro in his last fight. And that was a fight in which, again, I underestimated him. I picked Tyson Pedro to win, but he looked really good in that fight. His losses, he's got 5 of them. 3 of them come by knockout, 1 by submission, and 1 by decision. The knockouts come to Khalil Roundtree, who stabbed him in the leg with one of the most brutal finishes I've ever seen, as my cat Stevie makes her second appearance of this video. He was also knocked out by Jimmy Crute, cracked him with a big right hand. And then this other guy, who the hell knocked him out? John Redmond knocked him out. And it was pretty much the same punch as the Jimmy Crute punch. He crashed into him with a big right hand. Modestas was weak defensively and left an opening and got sat on his ass. And that guy, John Redmond, he had a lot more experience, but still, he's definitely a journeyman, not the best fighter. So I have my doubts about Bukoskas, Modestas' chin as well. I do have my doubts about his chin. However, he's a younger fighter, certainly more healthy, and I I like what I've seen from him as of late. He's definitely a very capable fighter offensively. The one submission loss he has comes to an ankle lock. Guy took him down and just put him in a straight ankle lock, standing up, and got him out of there. And the one decision is the Michal Oleksiejczuk, in a very close fight. I actually thought he got the better of Michal, but Michal... I actually thought he got the better of Michal, but Michal got the split decision. Modestas, he's got 9 wins via knockout, 2 via submission, 3 via decision. He's got good enough power. And, you know, I think with Zach Pauga's weak chin, it is possible for him to get a knockout here. But if he does win, I envision it being on the outside, winning a decision. Modestas is a guy that has a significant advantage, I want to say, in movement and overall striking here. So if they find themselves in a striking battle at any sort of range, I've got Modestas winning this fight. I don't think it would be by knockout, but again, Pauga's got a weak chin, so who knows. But I can see Pauga... my cat is pulling my fucking thing here. Okay. Jesus, fuck. I think Zach Pauga could duplicate the success he had against Jordan Wright, against Modestas Bukoskas, and I think if he did, it would look the same. I don't think he'd be able to make it a grappling battle, ripping Modestas to the mat so easily. I think he would be relegated to stuffing him against the cage. And Pauga's a big, strong athlete. He would have an advantage there, but I don't know how likely it is. It's likely enough for me to bet on it at plus 300. 5 of his 6 wins do come by decision, and I do predict if he did win, it'd be by decision. So I threw a sprinkle on it at plus 300. But really, my pick is Modestas Bukoskas wins a decision here, and that's at minus 150. I'm not touching that, you know, because, again, a lot of doubts with Pauga's chin and Modestas' power and everything else. Him winning a decision is just not something I could trust. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.